say. You have the right to remain silent because anything you say may be incriminating.
That's true.
I know.
Well, we'll let him know.
With all due respect, no you don't until you arrest him.
Oh, yeah.
When you read his Miranda rights. Until then, he can incriminate himself. Sir, you do not have to answer anything they are saying. Only two, if they're lucky, if your names are actually going to be on the police report. Anything he says that is helpful to him and exculpatory will not be on the police report. But anything he says that you guys can then use against him to prosecute will be in the police report. So that is why people need to know ahead of time about their Fifth Amendment.
Today's video comes from David Webb, and it features the Worcester Police Department in Worcester, Massachusetts. Now, they are one of the most dirty police departments I've ever seen, and I know that from experience. This happened to me just 4 years ago. For simply filming in the police department, they assaulted and punched one auditor, then grabbed me and shoved me face first through a double plate glass door. So even having the bravery to film this department makes David extremely brave. But David's been doing activism for a long time. David was crucial in a Massachusetts right to repair bill, making it easier for repair shops to fix your stuff and for you to get it fixed. And he was all over the news because of it. Crucial to the activism of this state. He's active and speaks out at City Hall open meeting forums regularly, notably for the unhoused and homeless population, trying to make sure the city can't make people less fortunate their victims to increase curb appeal. He has a popular podcast in which he notifies voters and residents of Worcester about need-to-know events that affect their daily lives. And he's doing it all fearlessly from what is considered the lion's den here in Massachusetts. Which brings us to Foster Street, Worcester, Massachusetts, November 17th, 2024. David notices a man being detained by the Worcester police. He literally sprints into action to try and assist this citizen against one of the most corrupt police departments in the United States today, embattled by police corruption and excessive force lawsuits.
Hearing from one of the people suing Worcester Police for excessive force. As WBC's Beth Germano tells us, the man says he was chronicling a protest when chaos broke out.
I'm scared of things that I've never scared of before.
He was a photojournalist the night of June 1st, 2020.
And you can see Cummings here clearly.
Richard Cummings on the sidewalk, capturing the clash between police and protesters as mayhem broke out following a protest in Worcester.
Out of nowhere, they kind of just grabbed me, so they're arresting me, and kind of whacked me around a bit. They took everything from me. They took my camera.
Cummings is one of 11 plaintiffs now suing police officers and city officials, claiming Worcester police retaliated against bystanders, all coming after the department's own chief kneeled with protesters before things escalated.
Excessive use of force, fabrication on their police reports, false arrest, malicious prosecution.
And most would think that the Worcester Police Department eventually will pay for their mistakes, but they literally don't. In a separate and totally different lawsuit, this man won an $8 million judgment against Worcester Police after they fabricated evidence. And despite court orders and the law that they uphold, they still haven't paid. So in a city like Worcester, Massachusetts, citizen journalism is more than ever needed for a department that at will trample all over your constitutional rights. This is David's encounter.
Sir, under the Fifth Amendment, you don't actually have to answer literally anything they say.
Now, David's very well educated and even more so articulative. And he brings up a great point which he'll later explain in the video. Under the Fifth Amendment to the United States Constitution, you have the right to remain silent and to be free from any self-incrimination. But that right does not kick in until you're Mirandized. Anything that you say up until that point during your encounter with police can and almost always will be used against you in the court. Police will often never mention anything that is helpful or exculpatory to your case, but they'll always mention things that might be helpful to the prosecution. And as far as Worcester goes, if they don't have anything that's helpful to the prosecution, they'll just make it up.
Sir, under the Fifth Amendment, you do not have to answer anything they say. You have the right to remain silent because anything you say may be incriminating.
That's true.
I know.
We'll let him know. We'll let him know. We'll let him know.
Oh, officer, you'll let him know. Then no worries. We'll trust that a police department that is notorious for violating people's constitutional rights will let the person they're accosting know all about their constitutional rights. That's the type of statement and logic that only ever makes sense to police, and we in the AFA crew call that cop logic. How do you know if you're encountering cop logic? Well, it's simple. It will make zero sense to anyone except a cop. And with everything that's been going on in Worcester, the police are on notice, and they're more fearful of the camera than ever. And they should be. They're already not paying up the money that they're ordered to pay on all their other excessive force lawsuits. At this point, they're so corrupt that they're broke because of it. Watch how fake this cop is going to be. But keep in mind, cop logic strikes again. He's going to pretend to be all for the people and their rights, while he's literally keeping the journalist and the camera as far away from this potential victim of police as possible.
With all due respect, no you don't until you arrest him. When you read his Miranda rights. Until then, he can incriminate himself. Sir, you do not have to answer anything they are saying.
Thank you. Thank you for letting him know.
I mean, I know that many people don't know their rights, which allows you guys to operate the way you do.
You have like a blog, right? You notify people and stuff like that, right? It's a good way to, advocate and let people know their rights.
Should I not take the advice I'm giving him?
No. It's good what you're doing.
It's David Webb on YouTube, Instagram.
That's dope. I like that.
Yeah.
It's a good way, for people to know, because you don't know your rights, you don't know.
Well, it's not just about rights, it's about holding the Worcester Police Department accountable.
Okay, yeah.
Because I know how little is actually in the police reports. I know that only two, if they're lucky, of your names are actually going to be on the police report. Anything he says that is helpful to him and exculpatory will not be on the police report, but anything he says that you guys can then use against him to prosecute will be in the police report. So that is why people need to know ahead of time about their Fifth Amendment.
And just like all of David's other activism, he chalks up another victory. These police leave empty-handed, with no one to further victimize, no one to slap cuffs on, and no one left to violate. And don't think it's anything else. He's been going to war against the city of Worcester for their disbursement and mistreatment of the unhoused population. Their solution to homelessness is to just lock somebody up, to generate more revenue for the city. But because of David, their plans were foiled on this day. Make sure you check out David's channel. His link and original video will be in the description of this one. And thank him for his activism and his service. David is what we in this business consider a true to the core activist. There's no money exchanged, no quid pro quo, just cameras and accountability. So check him out and tell him Accountability for All sent you. And subscribe so you can see all the future updates that David drops. And also a special hello from a new member of the AFA family. And that's the reason I stopped you today. And a shout out to the newest member of the AFA family. Check out Payne. He's a little baby Akita. He's 10 weeks old and he's ready to help you guys with the fight for freedom. What's up?